Friday night, Southern Utah against Utah State Gymnastics up here in the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Southern Utah Gymnastics team is presently being introduced, starting with Stacy Webb, Natalie Trejo, Tylee Bizzuto, Memory Shettles, Sydney Townsend, Arlen Armour, Virginia Brownsell, Christy Yee, Amber Heltemus, Karen Gonzalez, Cameron Bayer, Caitlin Kessel, Madison Blake, and Danielle Ramirez. So this is the second week in a row that both Southern Utah and Utah State have met. Last weekend was a barn burner, literally a barn burner in Southern Utah. Southern Utah coming away with a win just right around 3/10 of a point. Utah State, great bars, struggled a little bit on vault, great beam, and then had to count an out of bounds and a major bobble on floor exercise. That was the difference in the meet. But tonight, going to prove to be a different story. Having talked with Coach Scott Bauman, his biggest concern tonight is a slight degree of injury level. He's holding some kids down, not competing them totally in the all-around, replacing them with other individual workers that have, event workers that have proven themselves. Right now, the team rankings are not really that close. Utah State is ranked 31st, and Southern Utah is, I believe, ranked 24th. Both coaches, having been interviewed, are looking for a high level of performance. And now coming out to the floor is the Utah State women's team. Charlie Belliston, first girl out, followed by Emily Briones, Katie Brown,
a senior from Carlsbad, California, Michelle Yasukochi,
Jill Chappelle, Joanna Kuba, Destiny Azell, Miranda Hall, Miranda Kerr, Kenzie Martinez, Bailey McIntyre, Brielle Muhlstein, Melanie Oster, Sarah Patterson from Logan, Utah, Carrie Peel, Natalie Rainbolt, Haley Sanzati, Madison Ward, and Michelle Yazukuchi make up the Utah State roster. Utah State's team, along with Southern Utah, is quite a veteran team. So we're going to see a great performance tonight. Both these teams, in my opinion, having watched them either on live stream from Southern Utah or here in the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum with Utah State, both teams are capable of going 196. And that's what both coaches are looking for. Hit sets, powerful performances, polished performances, and then starting to climb down rankings, particularly when it gets to the qualifications of the regional qualifying scoring system, which is 6 meets, 3 home, 3 away. You drop the high, you average the 5. That's what gives you your regional qualifying score. Presently, the rankings are based on averages.
From Fort Collins, Colorado, Carrie Peel. A sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada, Miranda Hone. And a senior from Georgetown, Texas, Joanna.
In talking with Scott Baum and Southern Utah's coach, last week was really the first real clean meet that they had, even though that they still had to count a fall on bars. Utah State has gone several meets now not having to count a fall, but have been a little bit untidy. So those polished performances at the end of January is what all coaches nationwide are looking for. Scott Bauman in his 25th year, Natalie Walsh in her 3rd season. What a turnaround she has done for the Utah State Gymnastics program. From being ranked as low as 52nd in the nation just a few years ago, having failed to qualify 7 years in a row to the regional meet as a team, has brought them all back. And our condolences to his wife and his family. Begins the 2-minute warm-up. I'm sorry, the 3-minute warm-up. You know, this is ever so important. How a team gets off to a good start, it's just critical. And it comes down to those first 2 performers, one on vault, one on bars, to kind of set the pace for the rest of the squad and what the night has to be has to hold. You know, right now everybody's cheering, everybody's laughing, but all I can tell you is that it's all about pressure. You have to hit your routines to continue to apply pressure to the other team and try and see if there's a break in the action or in the routines. Utah State has struggled a little bit on vault. It's been pretty much on landings. They're ranked 42nd in the nation, and Southern Utah's bars, which is now coached by Scott Bauman. He's taken over the coaching of the uneven bars for the last 3 years, I believe, and they're ranked 19th in the nation. So this is going to be a very interesting opening. A lot of pressure on the Aggies to start off to really put together some six quality vaults and get this thing and get this meet rolling. Certainly with Southern Utah, it's going to be exactly the same thing on the uneven bars. The vaults have changed. Degree of difficulties have changed. The mainstay vault nationwide is a Yurchenko, which is the round-off entry vault, to a back layout with a full twist. Used to be a 10-0. Now it's a 9.95. But we will see some 10-0 vaults tonight. We're going to see a 1.5 twist out of Utah State, and we will see a pike cuervo, which is a handspring half twist, back pike somersault out of that. That's a 10-0 degree of difficulty. And we'll see a very unusual vault. It's not a 10-0, but it's a very interesting vault. It's a 9.9 start value, and it's called a Kazamatsu out of Southern Utah. Certainly, on uneven bars, it's all about the giant swing. It's a tempo of swing. Releasing the bar, recatching it, having bar transitions. You have to have a biaxial change, which is, in other words, a half turn somewhere. And then you must touch both bars 2 times. So those are the requirements. They're into the 3-minute warm-up. And the lineups for Utah State will be Bailey McIntyre will lead off, followed by Michelle Yazakuchi, then Madison Ward, Miranda Hone, Mackenzie Martinez, and then Jill Chappelle will be the last up and anchoring that event for Utah State. For Southern Utah, Caitlin Kessel will be first up, followed by Madison Blake, Virginia Brownswell, Stacy Webb, Danielle Ramirez, and then Karen Gonzalez will be anchoring the uneven spot. You know, it's been in my opinion, and I've always said this, that the 2 most important people on any lineup is the first young lady up to kind of set the pace for the team, hoping that there is no breaks in that particular rotation for either team. And then your 6th person has either the free rein to really launch whatever they're doing and going for it, or if they have a break in the competition, someone taking a fall, and that 6th person has got to come up with the courage and the performance to hit a routine because there are 6 performers in every event. You can add up 5 of those scores to come up with the event total. Add up all 4 event totals, that's your team score. Very few minutes will be ready to go with tonight, which I'm going to consider to be, it's going to be just another barn burner. The state of Utah has become very, very strong in intercollegiate women's gymnastics. The University of Utah is, I believe, ranked 6th in the nation. Southern Utah, 24th. Utah State, 31st, and Brigham Young, with a new coaching staff down there, is ranked 33rd. At this level of gymnastics, every routine, except for perhaps vault, is expected to start at a 10-0 start value. It's unfortunate, but it's very true. Landings on vault, handstands and landings on the uneven bars really differentiate what's going to score a high score or a lower score. I'll try and describe those to you as we go through in each and every of the performances.
Feel free to clap and cheer during our teams too. If you still aren't sure when you should cheer, just look at the rest of our team. If they're cheering, then you know it's okay for you to cheer too.
And don't forget to look out for the USUs at the end of the floor routine.
One of the other things that Coach Walsh is
So be loud, be proud, and cheer on
looking
your
for is
USU
full commitment from the entire team. 24 routines are being thrown tonight for team score. Every participant, every team member should be involved in every one of those routines. And we're about ready to start. 110% effort is what Coach Walsh is looking for from every one of her competitors tonight. The Aggies started off with a great record, coming up with a 2-0 record, upending at that time, which is still number 16 Kent State here in the Spectrum. Have the home court advantage. And here we go. Bailey McIntyre's up first. She'll be performing a Yurchenko layout with a full twist. Well negotiated. Slight step on that landing. A little bit of leg separation at the end. Very good upright position. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for height, distance, and landing. The execution of the vault is the cleanness of the feet, the toes, and the legs together. And now on the uneven bars, Caitlin Kessel does a blind change into her giant's wings, a full pirouette, bail to handstand, and now she's gearing up for a dismount. A little bit short on that handstand, and a little bit of hop on the landing. So we're going to see here now. We're waiting for the score for Bailey McIntyre. Can you get the score,
That was Kylie Bizzuto, just so you know.
Huh?
That was Kylie Bizzuto.
Okay, that's not what it says here.
Yeah, I think that's
So, if there are any changes, please put them down here, would you please?
Yeah. Do you have a pen?
Score for Bailey McIntyre is a 9.7. I can't see. And it appears that the average score for Tylee Bizzuto is a 9.75 on the uneven bar. So great opening vaults for both squads. It's pretty much into match play at this time. Both scores pretty much counteract each other. And now Michelle's up.
So that's bars, this is vault. You're playing.
Michelle Yasukochi.
Nice vault from Michelle, a very upright
Next
position.
up on even bars in the T-Bird, Sydney Townsend.
A little bit of a hop, chest down just a hair. I don't know what type of score that's going to be, but I don't think it'll surpass Bailey McIntyre's. And now up Sydney Townsend on the uneven bars. There's her major release, legs slightly apart. That's called a bail to handstand, or an underswing half turn, catch the low bar in a handstand. Setting up for her dismount. Stuck landing.
Next on welcome is Madison Ward.
That should help Southern Utah's cause right there with Sydney. Next up from Idaho Falls, freshman Madison Ward. Maddie's been sidelined for most of the season. Just started actually practicing in December. She had a last-minute surgery to her ankle, repairing a ligament there. And we're getting a score for Sydney. Nice vault for Maddie. She had quite a bit of a pike down. The judges are going to deduct for that. And then took that big step backwards. What was Michelle's score? As I expected, Michelle's score was a 9.6. That big hop backwards cost her. And now up for Southern Utah is Memory Shettles, and all of a sudden we took a fall there. That's the first break of the competition. Haven't received a score yet for Maddie Ward. Coach Bauman restarts the routine. There's a bail over the low bar. Finishes with a double layout with a step back.
Next up on ball for your Aggies, Miranda Hone.
What was that score? A 9.65 for Maddie Ward on vault. There's a nice vault. That's a 10-0 start value. That's a Yurchenko with a full twist onto the table and a back tuck off. Now that should score well. It was a nice landing, nice in the air. We'll see what it scores. Certainly with the fall, that affects the start value of the gymnast. And you have to look to the small score sheets on the table, the flashers. And that was a 9.15 for Memory Shettles. That was Miranda Hone on that beautiful, that should be a 10-0 start value vault, I believe. And next up for the Aggies on vault will be Mackenzie Martinez. Mackenzie started coming to the Utah State Gymnastics camp when she was 5 years old. She's from Kimberly, Idaho, which is about 2.5 hours away, a former national elite. And I'm sorry, the score for Memory Shettles was an 8.95. And now up, Caitlin Kessel. That's a blind full into a release move, which is a Ginger. That's the single bar release that's required. That's a bar transfer or the bail to handstand from high bar to low bar, setting up for her dismount. And that's a double somersault with a full twist. Nice upright landing, but took a slight step back. That's going to be a clean routine. That routine should score. Next up for the Aggies, Mackenzie Martinez. The flag's up. Mackenzie's prepared to go. Nice Yurchenko layout with a full twist. Very clean in the air. Great trajectory off of the horse. And not much of a pike down, but did take a 2 steps back. That will cost her. 9.75 for Caitlin Kessel. Next up, Kristen Yee. Does a hop to handstand into a piked Jaeger, which is an E move. Bails immediately out, which she gets additional bonus points for that. A little short on that handstand. Oh, beautiful double layout. Couldn't really tell if she stuck the landing. But that is a routine that should score well also. Boy, I don't know. These judges seem to be stuck at 9.75. The score for Mackenzie Martinez. That appears to be a 9.775 score for Mackenzie. And Kristen Yee, a 9.875. That's a phenomenal score. She had to have stuck that landing. Can't see it from here. There's a lot of bodies around the events. Next up, Jill Chappell. And she does the Yurchenko 1.5 twist. You know, the situation there is going broke for a 10-0 start value vault. Slight leg separation and then landing issues. But she negotiated. It can only get better from there. Good job, Jill Chappell. We'll see what the judges do with that. Danielle Ramirez is up for the Aggies. I'm sorry, for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. She took her ray, her ray, which is a toe on. You go underneath the bar with your toes on the bar, and when you release the move, you straddle and recatch, which is called a Tkachev. Coach Bauman, I believe, with the scenario of the one fall already, wisely took that move out to come up with a stronger team score. So we'll see how that works out for him. Smart gymnastics. Oh boy, and was it smart? I see one score of 9.9. Score for Jill Chappell, 9.65 average. So we'll come up with the team totals here in just a few minutes. But again, this is going to be very close in the opening competition. Wouldn't have expected anything less from the two in-state rivals. Well, I really do believe that both teams have come onto a great start, and what will happen now is they'll switch. Utah State will go to bars, and Southern Utah will go over to the vault. USU's vault total is 48.45, which is about what they have been doing. So no loss there in gambling with the Yurchenko 1.5 twist with Jill. That may be about a 10th higher, and the average for Danielle, 9.85. Right now we have an exhibition performer from Southern Utah on the uneven bars. Nice release move, Pike Yeager to an immediate bail. A little bit of slight leg separation. Setting up for her dismount, which was a double layout. Well executed. That's a good exhibition performer, I can tell you that right now. You know, the exhibition performer is to be ready to get called upon if something were to happen during the warm-ups or if there's an illness in the gym. You need to be 8, 9, sometimes 10 deep on every event in order to get through an NCAA season. Southern Utah's bar scores, 48.975. They've got about a 4/10 lead, 4.5 lead over Utah State. So far this year, vault has been probably one of the lower scoring events nationwide because of the devaluing of vaults. Everybody was doing the exact same vault, which was the Yurchenko layout full. And what they're wanting to see is a variety of vaults, such as the Pike Cuervo, such as the full twist on, Yurchenko on, and a back tuck off.
Brought to you by Mackenzie Martinez. T-shirts for the loudest fans in the spectrum.
And now Southern Utah is ranked 16th on the vault, but Utah State is ranked 19th on the uneven bars. So no breaks so far to be counted for team score. We find Southern Utah ahead by about a 0.5 of a point, and we'll see if Utah State can magnify on what seemingly has been one of their best events so far in this young season. That's the uneven bars. The lineups. The lineups for Utah State will be Bailey McIntyre, followed by Charlie Belliston, Melanie Oster, followed by Mackenzie Martinez, followed by Joanna Kuba, and finishing up and anchoring that event with Madison Ward. And Southern Utah's lineup, Tylee Bozzuto will be up first, followed by Madison Blake, followed by Virginia Brownsell, followed by Stacy Webb, Danielle Ramirez, then anchoring would be Karen Gonzalez. It's a 5 o'clock meet in the Hamilton Arena. I want to call upon all our ex-Aggie gymnasts to be in attendance with your families. There's a reception after the meet. Hope you'll be able to join the team, bring your families, and be able to communicate with Coach Natalie Walsh, her experiences for the first 3 years of her coaching here at USU. You You know, if I was Coach Walsh right now, I'd be very pleased with the Aggie vaulting, performing pretty much what they have done all year long and experimenting and added or interpolating greater difficulty in their vaults. Yurchenko full-on tuck-off is a new vault for the season, as well as the Yurchenko 1.5 twist. And now up, Tylee Bizzuto will be, Caitlin Kessel will be the first up for the Thunderbirds on the vault. I believe I watched her warm up a Yurchenko layout with a full twist. And it is. Slight pike down, big step back. We'll see how that one compares to what the judges were throwing for Utah State. You know, this level of gymnastics, everything's in the hands of the judges, and their consistency level is very important. Up, Bailey McIntyre for Utah State Aggies. Nice handstand. Here comes her release move. Amelia Bale over the low bar. Great extension and toe points. Strong handstand work and her dismount. Double somersault with a full twist. Slight step backwards. The reason I say slight, it was well in control. So we'll see what the judges have to say about that particular vault. And then the score for Tylee on the vault, it's a 9.65 average. Okay, so that's very consistent with what Utah State was scoring for the similar type vaults. You have to hold your shape in the air. When you land, you have to bend your knees a little bit. Let the mat absorb you. First score for Bailey McIntyre on the uneven bars. As expected. 9.85 on the uneven bars for Bailey McIntyre. That was Sydney Townsend performing another Yurchenko layout with a full twist on vault. Well executed. Slight step back. Charlie Belliston. Her opening move is what's called a Shaposhnikova. It's a clear hip, release, recatch to what's called a pack salto. 2 major release moves in a row. She picks up a 10th of bonus for the Shaposhnikova, another 10th for the pack, and what a dismount. This is going to be another big score. I just feel it. This right now is really setting up Utah State. Virginia Brownsell is now up for the Thunderbirds on the uneven bars. I'm sorry, for the vault. Getting a little excited here. This is making everything quite close. A 9.725 for the previous vault. That was Caitlin Kessel on a pike cuervo, beautiful in the air. And a 9.9 for Charlie Belliston on the uneven bars. Everything was right up on top. Great handstand work, great release moves, great dismount. Next up for Utah State, Melanie Oster. There's her Ginger. Kips back up to the high bar. Nice handstand. Blind change. Counter swing to the low bar. Immediate release to the high bar. Well done. Setting up for her dismount. Double layout. Nice vault. Nice uneven bars for Melanie. Appears to be a 9.8. for Stacy Webb. Danielle Ramirez is next up for the Thunderbirds. Danielle's getting ready for her vault. That vault score for Stacey Webb was a 9.85, and it is a beautiful Cuervo. For Melanie Oster, a 9.825. That was Danielle Ramirez with a Yurchenko layout with a full twist. Had a bit of a struggle on the landing. Landed forward. We'll see what the judges do with that. That should be a deduction. I know that Mackenzie Martinez now up on the uneven bars. That's a beautiful release move. That release move was called a Delchev. A clear hip to a underswing to handstand. Now she's setting up for her dismount. Nice landing, just a bit of an early release. Could have held her tap just a little bit longer on that release move, taking a small step back. Nice routine. Next up for Southern Utah will be Karen Gonzalez. And it appears to be that score for Danielle Ramirez is a 9. Danielle's score was next up now is Karen Ramirez. Wow. That's a Yurchenko layout full. Great body position in the air. Great landing. Didn't move a muscle. Any critique to it from my standpoint would be just a little bit further away from the vault table. Danielle's score is a 9.75. Joanna Kuba up on the uneven bars. There's her Jaeger to an immediate bail over the low bar, which gives her added bonus. All routines start at 9.5. A little short on that handstand. Nice blind full. And a stuck landing.
Next up on ball for Southern Utah, Karen Gonzalez.
And the average score for Karen Gonzalez $9.85. $9.875. Who was that just went? Oh, Karen Gonzalez just went. I'm a little bit off on this.
Next up on bars for your Aggies.
Some changes that have taken place in order that I'm not aware of, but that was Karen Gonzalez. And for Joanna Kuba, a 9.725. A very good routine. If she got any deductions, was probably a little bit on her handstand work. And now up for the Aggies, Maddie Ward. It's a blind change to her Jaeger to an immediate bail. Little short on that handstand. Should receive a bit of a deduction. Oh. And then a double tuck somersault with a full twist. A little short on the landing, touching the floor. That would be considered a fall. So we'll see what the judges do with it. Not much support on her landing on that dismount as a fall. They might just receive a 3/10 deduction. But as expected, this is a barn burner, folks. Right now we've got Utah State at a 49.125. And Southern Utah's vault with a 48.875. Utah State picked up a couple of tenths on them just now. And right now, I've got the running total. Southern Utah is still leading with a 97.85. And Utah State with a 97.575.
The final scores been flashed. This concludes our second rotation of competition. Gymnasts, please march to your next event.
In the second half of this meet, the teams switch. Utah State will be on the balance beam, the dreaded beam, 48 inches high, 4 inches wide, tough to stay on. But these are Division I athletes. They're expected to stay on. And when we come back, we'll be going to commercial. We'll talk a little bit about Southern Utah's floor.
The third highest score with a 9.
Welcome back to the Spectrum. We're in the intermission area. Right now the teams, Southern Utah is warming up floor exercise. Utah State is up on the balance beam. Presently the score is very, very close. Whoops, we just had an inquiry and a change in the score. Southern Utah is at a 98 even, and Utah State is at a 97.575. Just about 4/10 of a point separates both teams. As everyone knows, if you've been to a gymnastics team, this is white knuckles time. You got to negotiate 6 beam routines, 6 floor routines, and then switch. And the home team finishes on floor exercise, and the visiting team finishes on the dreaded balance beam. But you know what? Utah State has always been known for great balance beam performances. And certainly, we hope to see one again tonight. On floor exercise, again, all routines on floor and beam start at 9.5. You have to earn your way back to a 10.0 start value. The requirements on balance beam is you must have a flight element that has a D element in it, like a layout. So a back handspring with a layout in it. You have to have 2 leaps, a full turn. You have to have a side element. Once you meet those requirements, you're allowed to start at 9.5. Then you have to interpolate difficulty into your routine. I'll try and point those out to get you back started at a 10.0 start value. On floor exercise, start at a 9.5 value. You have to have 2 to 3 somersaults. 2 or 3 tumbling passes. One of those tumbling passes must have 2 somersaults. Also, somersaults must be different. One tumbling pass, if you only have 2, must be backwards. The other one frontwards, or else you receive a monotony deduction. But we'll see most of the routines tonight with 3 tumbling passes. Usually it's 2 backward tumbling passes and 1 frontwards. Utah State will start the competition in the second half. Carrie Peel will lead the Aggies off. And then on floor exercise will be Natalie Trejo. I cannot tell you the electricity that's on the floor right now. Not only from the fans in the stands, but the gymnasts and the coaches themselves.
Rotation 2, Utah State has a score of 97.575. Southern Utah has a score of 98 even.
And here we go. First up on the balance beam is Carrie Peel. Carrie is from Fort Collins, Colorado, I believe, and she competed with a very good friend of mine, Gene Conkey at GK Gymnastics. Carrie setting up for her flight element. Here it is. And it's a back handspring with a layout. There is a balance check there, and a pretty big one, so she'll receive a deduction for that, but it's going to be a lot better than falling off. She certainly was tough on that. There's her 180-degree split. The required full turn, she negotiated that beautifully. She looks great up there. Just that one little flaw. One little flaw on the flick lay. It will cost her, but boy, she's really picking it back up. Nice performance level. I believe now it appears she's setting up for her dismount. And it's an aerial with a full twist dismount. Slight step on the landing. A very nice routine. Great presentation. Natalie Trejo first up for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. That's a handspring front double twist. An E element. It carries 2/10 of bonus. Great performance so far by Natalie. That's a back 1.5 twist to a front pike. That is a back somersault into a front. But the difficulties of it, she obtains 1/10 of tumbling bonus there. Now Natalie setting up for her last tumbling pass. 1.5 twist to a stretch front. Okay. That should receive 2/10 of bonus right there. That was a nice performance from Natalie.
Next up is the Aggies, Bailey McIntyre.
Bailey McIntyre up for the Aggies on balance beam. That was a front handspring mount. And it appears that Carrie Peel's average was a 9.7. Bailey setting up for her flight element. That's a triple series. 2 back handsprings into a layout. So she actually receives 2/10 of bonus for that particular pass. 1/10 for the layout and 1/10 for the 3 flight element. There's her 180 split. Another requirement. Bailey has, again, this Utah State Aggies, their beam team is quite strong. Her dismount, front full, stuck dismount. That's going to be a nice score. Okay. I can't call it like I'd like to, but that's going to be a big mark. We'll see what the judges do with it. Tylee Bizzuto now up on for the floor exercise for the Thunderbirds. Natalie's score is going to be a 9.7 average. I don't think Coach Bauman is quite pleased with that score. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns an inquiry in on that one, trying to find out where the judges are coming from on what they're looking for. She did receive a 10-0 start value, so and the score for Bailey McIntyre Going to appear to it appears to be a 9-8 start, a 9-8 score. So that's a good start for Bailey and the Aggies on the beam. And now Tylee is up on floor exercise with her opening pass. It's a pike double back with a nice landing. Very upright. No real step other than a finishing pose. Going into her second pass. That's a laid out front somersault to an immediate front somersault laid out again with a full twist. There's her leap series, which is a requirement on floor exercise. Setting up for her last pass. You know, this is a very well-conditioned Southern Utah team. Don't even see Tylee breathing very hard. And here it is. That's a front Rudy, which is a stretched out front somersault or a laid out front somersault with 1.5 twists. Nice routine for Tylee. Emily Briones up for the Aggies on the balance beam. That was a 9-8 score for Bailey McIntyre. Oh, and that's a very unusual fall for Emily. That's the first one that I've seen from her all year long. That was an aerial front that she went on, fell off on, which actually was part of her. And now we're setting up for her flight element. Back handspring layout. This balance beam can come up and bite you. You have to really stay focused. She turned her hips a little bit too much on the top of that aerial. Foot landing on the bevel, but she's pulling it back together again. Very nice. That's a leap with bonus. She'll get more of her score from that, and now setting up for her dismount. A round off with a double full. Nice landing, the slight step. That's a shame that she dished off on the aerial front. That would have been another big score for the Aggies. 9.75 for Tylee Bizzuto. Up now is Karen Gonzalez. Round off back handspring tuck double. Very well executed. Now her second pass. Oh, a bit of a stumble out of that front full to a stretch front. That'll cost her. I don't know if she stepped out of bounds or not. I can't see it from here, but that will be a bit of a deduction. Karen is a sophomore. She's from Murrieta, California. Now her last pass, stretch front, front full, another slight stumble. Outside of the two passes, second pass and the third with the slight stumbles, that was a very well executed routine. Emily Briona's score on the balance beam was a 9.125. And now up on the balance beam is Melanie Oster. This is where it gets tough. This is where the athletes have got to just completely block out what happened in front of them and just get on the equipment and do their thing. There seems to be a conference. We'll see what the result of that is. Okay, a reduction in the start value from Judge Tina Paulus. Up now, Melanie Oster. A side element is required on the beam, and Melanie does a very unusual flight element. She does an aerial to a back handspring, and it's right there, well executed. Like I said, this is the tough part. After a fall, athletes got to bring the team back. There's her 180. Split straddle 3/4. Carries bonus to get her to a 10.0 start value. That is if the judges award it. They say zone. Now it appears she's setting up for her dismount. There's her required full turn. Round off 1.5 twist. She brought him back. That's what it's all about. It's all about the pressure and being able to deal with it. Karen Gonzalez score on floor 9.675. Next up, Madison Blake for Southern Utah. That's a 1.5 twist to a punch front. All that chanting on beam. That was a 9.85 for Melanie Oster. The Aggies are back in the thick of things. And that's a front full with a stretch front with a half twist. Well done. Nice routine from Madison. for her dismount. A gainer layout with a full twist. Well stuck. There is a change on Melanie's beam routine. It went up from a 9.8 to a 9.85. That was well executed routine by Haley Zanzotti. And now up on floor exercise is Stacy Webb. Opens up with a back somersault in the pike position, a double back. Very well executed. Her second pass. Handspring front full to a front pike. Again, a requirement of front tumbling, but also carries bonus. Madison's Blake score was a 9.75. One more performer for Utah State. Handspring Rudy, well executed. That's a nice floor routine for Southern Utah. Great finish, high performance level. Very well executed. Now up, Michelle Yasagochi on the balance beam. Haley Zanzotti's beam routine, 9.85, well executed. Michelle has always been known for her beam. Coached by a former Aggie assistant coach, Quinn Shannon. She's from the Carlsbad area of Southern California. And here comes the big pass. Back handspring, layout, and she negotiates it. Okay, just a little bit of a balance check. She's supposed to do another layout there, but did not pull the trigger on it, knowing that she was probably slightly off. That's smart gymnastics. Whether she starts at a 10-0 value start now or not will be determined by the judges on the other elements in her routines. There's a standing gainer layout. I think that just made up for it. That is another D skill that she was missing in the first one. Whoa. That was a split 3/4. Had another bit of a balance check. But she's being tough right now. She's just got to come home with a dismount. The Aggies are trying to replace that 9-1, and she does. Okay. Michelle struggled a little bit, but negotiated the event, got the job done, stayed on the equipment. That's the first thing that needs to be done, is you have to stay on the equipment. Next up for the Thunderbirds, Virginia Brownsell. Pike double back. That was up into the rafters, folks. That was a big pike double. Score for Stacy Webb was a 9.825, a nice routine on floor. Followed by a tuck double for Virginia. and setting up for her last pass. Punch front, full stretch front. Well done. Well done, Miss Virginia. All right, Michelle received a score of 9.55 on the balance beam. That picks up another 4/10. So the Aggies finished with a 48.8 on the balance beam. Now we have an exhibition performer for Utah State on the balance beam. This is Natalie Rainbolt. Natalie is from Lawrence, Kansas. She's a freshman. Aerial front. She had a nice flight element. Back handspring to a layout. Finishing with a gainer layout with a full twist, which is a side dismount. Nice job from the freshman. She's looking to get, obviously making it into that beam lineup. That concludes 3 rotations. Southern Utah finished with a 48.875 on the floor exercise, and Utah State went 48.8, so they picked up 3/4 of a tenth on the Aggies, but now it comes down to the last and final rotation. Utah State will be on the floor exercise, and Southern Utah will be on the balance beam.
Coach?
Five-tenths of a point. It's differentiating the difference between Southern Utah and Utah State at this point in time. Southern Utah holds the edge, 146.875 to 146.375. It can all change. But Southern Utah has always been known for a strong beam team as well. It's going to be, this is where the Aggies have made some crucial mistakes in the first couple of meets of the year. It is what cost them at Southern Utah. Right now, it's just got to be a realm of confidence with each and every individual. Virginia Brownsville's floor score, 9.85. And now we're into the 2-minute warning. Great performances by both teams. We'll be going to a commercial break now, and we'll talk to you as soon as we get back. Ray Korn here. Welcome back to the Spectrum. It's a barn burner, folks. As I said, Southern Utah is leading this competition after 3 rotations, 146.875 to USU's 146.375. 6 more routines will determine the outcome of this meet. Aggies on floor, Southern Utah on beam. The lineup for the Aggies on floor exercise will be Carrie Peel, Jill Chappell, Destiny Azell, Haley Sanzotti, Mackenzie McIntyre, Mackenzie Martinez, Bailey McIntyre. For the Southern Utah Thunderbirds, Natalie Trejo, Tylee Bizzuto, Karen Gonzalez, Madison Blake, Stacy Webb, and anchoring the event, Virginia Brownsell. Both teams seemingly could be heading towards a 196 night if they just negotiate the last two events. More importantly, hitting routines is what gets you to the next level, gets you into a stronger RQS. It's not whether you win or lose in gymnastics, it's what you score. Out of the 12 meets or 13 meets that you have, you must count 6 for a regional qualifying score. But in state like this, hey, it's about the win. We'll be back. We're going to commercial, and we'll get this last rotation going. Welcome back to the Spectrum. This is a barn burner, folks. There's 0.5 of a difference. Southern Utah is on the beam. They've got to negotiate 6 beam routines. Aggies are on floor. First up for Southern Utah on the balance beam is Natalie Trejo. First up on floor exercise will be Carrie Peel. Quite a big balance check there on Natalie on her gainer layout. But you know what? It's gut check time. The win's important. Scoring is important. Trying to combine all that in this competition. There's her flight element, a flicked lay, a small balance check there, but it's negotiated. That's her 180-degree requirement, a leap of 180 degrees. Now we're setting up for the dismount. First one up for Southern Utah. Round off double full, and it's a hit set. Well done for Natalie, under pressure. Now Carrie Peel is up on floor exercise. First pass for Carrie. Front handspring with a front somersault with 1.5 twists in the layout position. That's called a Rudy. Getting ready for her second pass. A back 2.5 twist, which is another element that gains great bonus. It is what's called a D element, which you pick up 1/10 of bonus for a D element. Carrie is really performing with great confidence. Oh, a wonderful leap series there. Very well done. Setting up for her last pass. Well done. A back 1.5 twist with a stretch front. Wow. That was a very good routine from Carrie Peel. Being first up, that really sets the pace for the Aggies. Next up for Southern Utah is Stacy Webb. There's her flight element series. Well done. A back handspring to a layout. Her required full turn. Natalie Trejo on the balance beam. First one up for Southern Utah. Scored a 9.775. There's her required leap elements, and plus the 180-degree leap. It means both legs must create a line of 180 degrees. Very confident looking Miss Webb up there right now, getting ready for her dismount. Well done, stuck dismount. A little bit low on the landing, but you really can't ask anything more. This is going toe-to-toe at this point in time. We have a discrepancy of scores. We have on floor one judge having a score of 9.65 and another judge 9.8. I don't know how that could be such a differentiation. And yet we have a floor score for Carrie Peel. I'll give it to you shortly. But Jill Chappell is up at this on-floor exercise, second up for Utah State. Score for Southern Utah on balance beam, 9.9. Great score. Jill's first pass. Pike double back that just went right through the rafter. She's into this floor routine, I'll tell you. Everything's going to have to count here to pull a win off here against Southern Utah. We're either going to have some 9-9s or Southern Utah is going to have to make a mistake. But at this point in time, Jill's doing a great job. Second pass for Jill. A back 2.5 twist. Little bit of a hop there at the very ending in the landing. Oh yeah, she's into it. We've got about 4,000 people for a gymnastics meet here in the Spectrum. That's another one of the great things that Natalie Walsh has brought back to us. That is helping with the promotions to bring the crowds back in. Winning helps a lot too. Nationally ranked team helps a lot. Last pass for Jill. Back 1.5 twist to a stretch front with a half twist. Well done. Floor score for Carrie Peel was a 9.725. Well done by Jill. Stacy Webb, 9.9. Up on beam now, Danielle Ramirez. There's an aerial back handspring. It was connected. Aerial front's a D, back handspring a C, but it fulfills the requirement of a flight element, even though it goes forward and backwards rather than the traditional back handspring layout. There's the side element and she comes off the beam on the aerial side. That's the first break that Southern Utah has had really in the entire meet. They were quite perfect on vault, quite perfect on bars, and that's their first break. Now setting up for her dismount. Round off back 1.5. Nice routine from Danielle. Unfortunately, she took that spill. Jill on floor, 9.725. Up on floor exercise now, Destiny Azell. Jill's floor score, 9.775. That helps the cause. Really, at this point in time, we have a completely tied up meet. Destiny's first pass. Round off back handspring, pike double back. Well executed. Great landings. That's what it's all about. Division I, everybody should be able to do all of their tumbling passes. It's how you land it. Second pass. stretch front, second stretch front, immediately connected with a front full twist. Nice leap elements from Des. Oh boy. One more pass to go. Setting it up. Round off back handspring. Tuck double. Nice landing on that. This should score well, folks. Beam score for Danielle Ramirez was a 9.325. The crowd is into this one. Up on the balance beam, Tylee Bizzuto. That's a gainer layout. That would be considered in the old days a gym acro, which I don't think it's a requirement anymore. I'm going to have to look that up. Setting herself up for her flight element. Back handspring layout and a couple of balance checks there, then that should cost her. How the judges deal with it, don't know. It should at least receive a full 3/10 deduction. But then when she came up from the first balance check, she had a small second one. Her leap elements, that I think she held back a little bit on that second leap. We'll see what the judges do with this, setting up for her dismount now. Gainer layout with a full twist. Got the job done. She didn't come off the equipment. That's the number one prerequisite. Destiny, 9.8. What a great job on her part. Haley Sanzotti. Love this floor routine. She makes everything just look very easy, whether she's on beam or whether she's on floor. Nice, beautiful pike double back out of Haley in her first pass. Looks over at her team. Really performing to the crowd what we really like to see. It's that vote of confidence that she's got in herself that will carry over to the other competitors. Hey, if I can do it this way, ladies, so can you. Scores for Tylee Bizzuto. .625. Beautiful pass from Haley. Going into her last pass. Beautiful tuck double back. Nice job, Miss Sanzotti. And what a great crowd it is to be here in the Spectrum. I've always said it's one of the greatest arenas because your audience is right on top of the floor. Okay? Up on the balance beam now, Kristen Yee. Setting up for her first tumbling pass, an aerial front to a backhand chest roll. I don't think I could call that a chin. So a chin is a back tuck to a chest roll. I would have to call that a back handspring chest roll. But the judges are going to be challenged there as to whether she actually connected that or not, or if she took a little intermediate step before the connection. Full turn requirement. That's another front aerial, but in the tuck position. That's another 1/10 of bonus, setting up for her dismount. And that's a gainer dismount off the end. That dismount should receive a bit of a deduction because it comes off to the side. It should land parallel to the beam. So we'll see what the judges do with that. This is close, folks. Haley Sanzati scored beautiful, 9.875. Up on floor exercise now, Mackenzie Martinez. Beautiful pike double back. Again, this whole floor team has a complete different attitude this week as compared to last week at Southern Utah. Second pass for Mackenzie. Huge tuck double back. And Mackenzie setting up for the last pass. Come on, darling. Bring it home. Bring it home. Beautiful. Up, a couple of little steps at the end. Almost went out of bounds. And that was a front full to a pike front. But a job well done. As I thought, on balance beam, Kristen Yee did not receive credit for her gym macro, as I saw a couple of 9.8 start values. I don't know exactly what her score of 9.4. This should perhaps give a bit of an edge to the Aggies. Last up for Southern Utah is Cameron Baer. That was a round-off layout, really well executed. It was very high off the beam. Front flip, small step, should be a very small deduction on that. There's her 180 split. Should be getting close to setting up her dismount. Round off back 1.5 twist with a small step. It should score well, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to hold off surging Utah State, because up comes the anchor. And it's Bailey McIntyre, who does just a phenomenal opening pass. It's a double back with a full twist. Mackenzie Martinez, floor 9.775. This should put Utah State into the driver's seat. It's one of the best ones I've seen Bailey throw. It's a very difficult pass. Second pass for Bailey McIntyre. Front handspring, front full stretch front. Beautiful landings. Has one more pass to go. And I'm excited. This should bring it home for the Ags. Okay. And her last pass, round off back handspring, pike double. Little bit of a hop in the end there. Shouldn't be a small deduction. This crowd's into it. I hope the judges have got the courage to throw it. Have an exhibition performer for Southern Utah. Cameron Bear on balance beam, a 9.675. That really does complete Southern Utah's beam lineup. I know it's not what Coach Bauman had wanted to see out of his squad. Only one fall, but just some tumbles, some balance checks, missed requirements. But you know what? This is a very, very good Southern Utah team that Utah State upended tonight. And a spill there on a leap series. And we're coming up with a score for Bailey McIntyre on floor. Beautiful, 9.825. That should seal it. That should take them over the 49 mark. How quickly a meet can change in its complexion. Now we have an exhibition performer from Utah State, and it's Emily Briones. Emily is from San Antonio, Texas. She is a freshman. Emily's first pass, round off back handspring tuck double. Well done, nice landing. Excellent leap series. Second pass for Emily. Round off back handspring, pike double. Well done. That's a change from last week. Last week she tried to finish with a pike double, as I remember. Yep. And here we go with the last pass. Front handspring, stretch front. Oh, landed short on that and landed on her back. Unfortunate for, she'll fix that. Okay, that's a floor routine that needs to be ready to go to complete this season. As I said, in order to get through a season, you've really got to be 9 and 10 deep on just about every event. It's a grueling season. Gymnastics as a club sport, these kids are used to competing once every 2 to 3 weeks. Here in collegiately, you have 13 meets in about 14 weeks. As I said, we'll be waiting for the final scores. I know that Southern Utah did not finish the way that they'd like to, but every meet has got to be a learning situation. And we'll be pausing here for a few minutes for commercial, and we'll bring you back with the final team scores. Welcome back to the Spectrum, folks. I hope you watched this either online or you're here in the arena. 4,000 people just watched a great collegiate event. Watched a great Utah State gymnastics team start off slowly on vault, generate a great deal of energy from bars to beam, and finished it up on floor, with Utah State scoring a 49.05 on floor exercise, overcoming a 5/10 lead from Southern Utah going into the last and final rotation. Southern Utah did not have to count a fall, missed some requirements, had some balance checks, scoring a 48-375, and unofficially, Utah State should win this meet by a score of 195.425 to 195.25. Early in this telecast, I said it was going to be a barn burner. It certainly was again tonight. Next week, Utah State travels on February 6th to the Hamilton Arena at Denver University. It's a 5 o'clock meet. All Aggies, I'll see you there. Meet me at the Hamilton Arena. All right. And if I can make it, this is Ray Korn. Certainly going to make it. But if not, February 26th is the alumni meet here against Boise State. That's going to be another barn burner. Thank you. Good night.